Welcome to TikToks, a podcast where we try to navigate life by styling our minds, one candid conversation at a time. I'm Jilly.
I'm Dave. Come sit down with us and let's have real and raw conversations and anything and everything that will make us live smarter in the real world.
Thank you and enjoy listening. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of TikToks. Again, my name is Jilly, and
Nalito na.
I'm with Dave. So yes, thank you so much to everyone who's been there since day one and is continue listening to us every time we upload new episodes. So we are really, really grateful to all of you. For today's episode, we are going to talk about a topic that is really, really kind of a general topic, but at the same time a little sensitive because it is
Mhm.
part of our culture as Filipinos or as Asians. So today we're going to talk about the depths and boundaries of utang na loob, or in English we call it as debt of gratitude. So
Mm.
it's actually a trait that refers to the act of repaying a person's kindness that was given to us through our trials and tough times. So now we know that this is an integral part of our culture and that it's not a bad thing of whether we enforce it in our values or not, and whether you believe in it or your principles involve it or not. But we want to talk more about when the utang na loob value can have a negative impact on the way we do decisions and progressions in
Mm.
life. Because as we all know, aside from the good side, this value can be easily misplaced, pwedeng ma-exaggerate or ma-exploit. Okay? So maybe we can start the conversation by, redefining, not really redefining, by defining it and understanding the meaning of the phrase utang na loob. For you ba, Dave? What is it for you?
I think you've already defined it, dictionary form. Pero it's a very unique trait. I'm not sure if other countries are practicing it or not. But I've heard from one of my professors when I was in college na Filipinos nga lang daw talaga yung may concept ng utang na loob
Really?
or
Mhm.
reciprocity. Right?
Yeah.
So, based on your definition earlier, yun yung repaying someone's kindness that was
Mm-hmm.
given to us through our tough times, through the
Mm-hmm.
times na walang-wala talaga tayo. But,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, meron ba tayo nun? De, joke lang. Joke. Of course, we do have. Yeah, that's how I will define it. Ikaw ba?
And sometimes papasok din yung definition of it to the feeling that we inhibit every time someone helped us. Because it cannot be
Yeah.
helped, diba? Like, even though we didn't ask for help, but just for example, someone helped us through our tough times, we couldn't help but feel indebted to that person. And I don't know, it's like an innate trait of us na kapag may tumutulong sa atin, we want to give something in return because it's part
Mm,
of, of the way we live,
yeah.
or the way we think
Mm,
na parang grabe tinulungan ako ng taong 'to. So paano ba ako
oo. True.
makakabawi sa kanya, 'di ba?
Exactly.
That's that's a and for me that's a very good nature of us, you know.
Yeah.
It
Mm-hmm,
There's
mm-hmm.
nothing negative in that.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's the feeling of reciprocity that every time someone helped us, feeling natin kailangan nating makapagbigay even though they're not asking for something in return. So now let's talk about how or when does it become negative, or because as we all know, we have to figure out the the situations when it it's starting to become negative in our life, or it's starting to affect the way we decide or the way we think.
Mhm.
Would you like to go first?
Wait, before I give my own example, I want to give a disclaimer to everyone na like what Jilly mentioned before, it's a sensitive topic. We're not trying to become mag-oppose tayo.
Ungrateful.
Yeah, ingrateful, maging ungrateful tayo. And yung parang feeling natin, wala tayong utang na loob, yun na nga yung topic natin. Hindi ganon, okay? We love those people who have helped us through the tough times. Super duper grateful kami. And parang ang defensive ko. Joke lang. I mean, we did everything that we can to repay their kindness. But this topic, ang itatouch namin dito is, yun nga, kailan siya nagiging masama? Kailan siya nagiging destructive? And kailan siya nagiging nakakasira ng relationship? Right? Because
Yep.
helping each other is something that we do to strengthen our relationship. It's not meant to destroy the relationship, the friendship, or the kinship that we once had. Right? So,
Mhm.
sige, I'm gonna give one example. Um, let's start with a small thing. Let's say, yung pagpapautang. Right? During the time that you are at the lowest point of your life, financially, emotionally, of course, there are some people who will help you. Right? Pauutangin ka, pahihiramin ka, sasamahan ka. All those stuff. And then, time will come, you will recover. Right? Makakabangon ka, makakabayad ka ng utang mo, etc. Here in the
Yeah.
Philippines, kahit bayad ka na dun sa utang mo, parang,
Mhm.
yun nga, forever indebted ka dun sa tao yon. Because during the
Yeah.
time that no one was there for me, this person, andito siya. So lahat ngayon ng uutos or pakiusap sa'yo ni person na nagpautang sa'yo, gagawin mo. 'Di ba?
Yes. Yes.
That's true. That's
Mhm.
normal. Of course, gagawin ko yun. For example, tayo. Kaya pautangin mo ako nung, kaya nag-aaral ako, pinautang mo ako ng tuition ko. Pag nagkatrabaho ko, papasalubungan kita lagi. Pag kailangan mo ng ng pera, pautangin kita pag once na maluwag na ako. Kasi ikaw yun nandyan nung walang-wala ako. Ngayon, nagiging negative siya kapag si taong tumulong, the person who has helped us, minamanipulate na tayo. Paano yung manipulation na yun? Parang, oh, pinag-aral kita ha. Dapat require mo buwan-buwan padadalhan mo ko. Tinatakdaan ka na niya. Meron siyang siniset na something sa'yo kasi tinulungan ka niya. Ano pa? Okay, ayokong maging mukhang parang swail na anak dito sa topic na to. Yun nga yung sa mga magulang natin or maybe may tito or tita tayo na nagpaaral sa atin, meron tayong mga kamag-anak na nagtumulong nung time na walang-wala tayo. Ayokong sabihin na, uy tita, hindi naman kayo responsibilidad hanggang retirement nyo. Hindi ganon, okay? Pero yung fact na i-require tayo na pinag-aral kita, ngayon lahat ng anak ko pag-aralin mo. I think that's wrong. Right?
Grabe yun, no?
Or pinag-aral kita, suportahan mo ko hanggang mag-retire ako.
Mhm.
I think that
Yeah.
that that's where we have to draw the line na kapag ganun yung
Mhm.
nangyari.
Mhm.
But if your tita will parang make biro of you na, uy, pasalubong naman dyan ha, okay lang yon yung mga ganun,
Mhm.
pasalubungan
Yeah.
mo,
Yeah.
abot-abutan
Mhm.
mo. But if they will require you ng a specific amount of money or specific amount of help, I think sobra na yon, right?
Mhm.
And also, I want to highlight na if ikaw yung tinulungan, you have to have the willingness to repay the kindness. Kusang loob kong ibibigay yun. Kasi nagpapasalamat ako sa'yo. Kasi grateful ako
Mhm.
sa'yo. Hindi
Yeah.
siya hinihingi, hindi siya dinidikta, kusa siyang binibigay. That's healthy. Nagiging unhealthy siya pag once na, yun nga, diniktahan ka na niya and nag-set siya ng certain, ito dapat yung ibabalik mo sa akin. Ikaw ba?
Mhm. Yes, I very much agree with everything that you have mentioned. Ang gaganda ng example, and I know a lot of our listeners can really relate to that if it's not in their own situation, but the situation of their friends and families. Kasi nga sobrang prevalent siya sa culture natin eh.
Exactly.
And I just wanted to add on the part wherein siguro kahit hindi yung sa pagpapaaral and like monetary help. For example, yung na-mention mo na, if you are someone who helped your friend, for example, who's very down and siguro depressed and at the lowest points of their lives, you're always there to support them, like Siguro you're always
Mm.
willing to go to their place para samahan siya, ganyan, ganyan. And then once you have fully recovered, it can be sometimes toxic to, harbor hate to someone. Like for example, ikaw yung tumulong and ikaw yung nandun para sa taong yon. And now
Yeah.
ikaw naman yung nasa lowest point in your life. But sometimes, we couldn't deny, but we are still expecting from that person na tinulungan natin before na this is now
Mm.
their time or their turn to help us back.
Yeah.
So, parang maiisip mo, grabe nung depressed ka or nung kaka-break niyo lang or nung
I was there for
down ka, ako
you.
yung nandiyan. Tas ngayon na
Yeah.
kailangan ko kayo sa buhay ko, biglang hindi ko man lang
Wala na.
kayo matawagan, di man lang kayo makapagkita, ganyan, ganyan. But, hindi maiiwasan yung gano'n, but it's kind of a twisted thinking. Kasi because what if that person is not ready or not in the mental state or capacity to listen to your problems or to be
Mm.
there for you?
Yeah.
What if they're not that strong enough? You can't expect them to be as strong as you when
Yeah,
you
yeah,
were
yeah.
helping them,
That's
'di ba?
true. That's true.
So, that's one example.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Add ko dun, sorry. I think it's normal as a human being to expect something in return. Kaya nga dun ko highlight kanina, nagiging masama siya if you are expecting na the person will do the same thing that you
mhm.
did for them. It's normal.
Yes.
I think even you, wag tayong hypocrite dito. Nag-expect talaga tayo. Kasi we are expecting, I mean, it's a nature ng human being na mag-crave for love and attention and care.
Yes.
Right? Hindi yun mawawala. Pero yung mag-expect ka na ito dapat, dun siya talaga nagiging mali. Kaya dito natin dinadraw yung line, binabalance namin siya, finding the right balance.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
Tapos, yung
Mhm.
doon naman sa part kasi ni tinulungan, yes, you're right, ate. Maybe they're not in the right mental state. Maybe they cannot give or repay the same amount of effort that was given to them. But maybe naman from their end, maybe they can do something different. 'Di ba? Like for example, in your case, yung example mo parang let's say ikaw yung tumulong sa akin during the time na I was at my lowest point of my life. Let's say I broke up with my boyfriend or whatsoever, you were there for me. Let's say I can't be that friend for you. Let's say
Yes.
hindi ako magaling magpayo, hindi ako magaling mag-pacify, pero
Mhm.
I can have my own way naman to repay the kindness. Pwedeng I
Mhm.
can give pasalubong to you, I can
Or this
treat
is
you
what
on a
I can
dinner,
do.
I can treat you
Mhm.
on a massage. So, yun lang. Again, meeting halfway to kung paano ka tatanaw ng utang na
Mhm.
loob dun sa tao. What other
Mhm.
examples can we give? Ikaw ba? Yung mabibigay ka pa?
For example, in terms of employment or work naman. So,
Yeah.
kunyari, it's your colleague who's currently in a company na you have been dreaming of for a long time, and then he or she referred you. So, if in case nakapasok ka sa company yon, technically, through the process, if not because of your friend, you wouldn't be there. But it becomes toxic or negative if the one who helped you will tell you or will always, ipapamukha sa'yo na you're not going to be there if it's not because of me. Because that is very negative.
Grabe yun.
And because in the first place, it was your decision to stay in the company. It was just your friend who opened new door for you, but it was
Yeah.
your decision to enter that door and to stay in that company. And it
Yes.
was your performance or effort at work that made them like you. And it's not entirely you should not entirely dedicate your work and your and the things that you do just because you're thinking na ganito ko mababayaran or ganito ko siya, mababawian dun sa ginawa niyang pagpasok dito sa'kin. Which is that's a good thing, but it just becomes too toxic if isusumbat na sa'yo lahat ng tinulong sa'yo na parang, "Excuse me?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with what you've said. It can also be applied sa, for example, yung pinatira tayo.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
for example, we have a friend na pinatira kita, pinakain kita. So dapat hawak kita sa leeg. I think that's
Mhm.
wrong. That's wrong. The
Mhm.
person na tinulungan mo, they can repay their kindness in other way, pero yung you will stop this person from doing the things that can make them happy.
Yes.
Super I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right. Like, for example, yan, yun nga, yung mga tita or whatever, pinag-aral kita, ito dapat ang kunin mong course. May ganun eh.
Yeah.
Parang,
Mm-hmm.
pinag-aral kita, ito dapat ang kunin mong course. Kasi namamatay yung pangarap ng tao.
Yeah.
And that's so
And yeah.
sad.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking away the freedom from that person. And it doesn't make any sense. Okay, time will come. The person na tinulungan mo, they will earn money. They'll become successful with what they do. But are we really sure na they are happy with what they're doing? No, because we took that away from them. We took away the freedom that can make them happy. So, paano ka
Mm-hmm.
nakatulong dun? Hindi ka nakatulong sa
Yeah.
part na yun. Ayun. Sorry, ang hugot
Yes. And
natin.
yeah.
Grabe. Wait. Teka muna guys. Break muna tayo. Sorry, this clip, I forgot to include this here sa actual episode namin. So now while I'm editing it, I decided to add this takeaways kasi I don't want you guys to think na I'm ungrateful with my family. And I'm not pertaining sa sarili kong pamilya dito. My family members are so kind. Never nila akong hiningan ng kapalit. And I'm really, really lucky na sila yung naging magulang, sila yung naging lolo't lola, sila yung naging tito't tita ko. Kasi never nila akong tinakdaan na magbigay ng ganitong amount. Minsan nga may time pa na give I don't give my share sa kanila. So hindi to. It's not my personal experience. I'm pertaining to those other families na may ganitong issue. Okay? So yun lang. Back to the topic.
And some people just doesn't really care whether other people are happy or not, as long as they get something in return, as long as sila pabor sa kanila yung situation. Like what you've mentioned nga, it doesn't care whether the course that you took in college, you don't like it or not. As long as when you graduate, I will be the one who's going to benefit from you.
Exactly.
So, if you can notice, yung pagiging toxicity or negative nitong utang na loob concept, it happens when there's a power imbalance eh. It's
Yeah.
usually against someone na walang choice sa buhay. Yung walang-wala,
Yes.
kundi
Mm-mm.
kakapit na lang sa ibang tao or wala siyang choice kundi humingi ng tulong.
That's true.
So, it's that of gratitude can be a toxic way of holding people below you. So, and
Mm.
some people, yung mga tumulong, they wear it like a badge of honor na parang
Exactly.
tinulungan ko yung taong yan eh. So,
Yeah.
parang it
Oh.
makes me good.
Sense
It's
of
good for
entitlement
me.
yan eh. At the
Yes,
end of the
yes,
day. That's true.
'di ba? And I also agree na yung mga taong tumutulong with a hidden agenda, yung I helped
Gotcha.
him because I really want to help, but deep inside, I
Eh,
see it
ina-expect
as
ka.
an investment, 'di
Exactly.
ba?
I want to
You
highlight that.
see it,
Sorry to cut
you
you off.
see it as an
Exactly. I want to highlight what you've said. If you are going to give a help to someone, if you're going to help this person, don't see them as an investment. Na I'm gonna help this person kasi magkakapera ako dito sa huli. Or, yeah, kagaya nga nung papaaralin ko to para pag nagtrabaho siya akin lahat ng pera niya. Or, ano pa ba? Ano ba? Ayoko magbanggit ng certain scenario. Pero yun nga, yung parang tinulungan mo siya kasi sa huli ang benefit nasa iyo. Hindi maganda
Mhm.
yun. Hindi maganda talaga yun. Alisin natin yung ganong ugali. Ikaw ba, nasubukan mo na yun? Joke, may ganong tanong. Hindi pa
Hindi
namin
naman.
nasubukan yun. Wala naman din kami itutulong. Charot. Okay.
Okay, I also wanted to mention this time on the part of those on the people na mga tinulungan or the ones who receive the help. So sometimes if you are indebted to someone, um may tendency for you to have blind loyalty na tinatawag. Whereas
That's true.
blind loyalty is where the recipients of the help, they see their benefactors as perfect. So that
Mm.
kind of loyalty is unhealthy. You can always be grateful to someone who helped you get through a rough patch or saved you from a terrible situation, but it doesn't mean that they're always right and couldn't make mistakes. So yung pagkakaroon natin ng utang na loob sa ibang tao, yung pagtulong nila sa atin, it should never be a reason for us to ignore yung red flags na ginagawa
Exactly.
nila.
Mm-hmm.
And if may mali ka nang nakikita sa mga ginagawa nila, you try to, well, I mean, you unconsciously ignore it because now overpower yun ang
Mm.
ginawa nilang pagtulong nila sa'yo.
Exactly.
You know,
Mhm.
you can always be grateful and objective at the same time.
That's
And it
true.
will definitely save you from making bad decisions that are based on, blind loyalty nga na
That's true.
tinatawag.
That's true. Wait,
Mm.
if may I just add to that. Ang nangyayari kasi we're trying to put them in the pedestal eh. Eh, parang
Yes.
alam mo yun,
Mhm.
sinasamba mo na sila na, ito ang tumulong sa akin, hindi na to magkakamali. Lahat ng gagawin niya, susundin ko. Parang nanay tatay na. Lahat
Mhm.
ng utos mo ay
Yeah.
susundin ko. And also, I've shared a quote with you last time, di ba? Yung sinend ko sa Telegram, na nakalagay dun sa quote na yon. Applicable to when we apply sa isang company, na sasabihin ng company, sabihin ng employer mo para, ako nag-provide ng unang trabaho mo. I was there nung
Yeah.
time na walang-wala ka, nung time na kailangan mong kunin yung sahod mo ng maaga, andyan ako, binigyan kita ng career growth. But
Mhm.
this is a quote that I have seen last time. Sabi, a resignation shouldn't turn an employee into an enemy. No
Yep.
employee promises lifetime loyalty, just like no business promises lifetime job security. So I
Yeah,
want to highlight
louder.
that. I want to highlight that. Na, okay, I have nothing against with the previous company that I've worked with, current company that I'm working with. Okay naman ako sa kanila. This is an example situation para dun sa mga taong ayaw i-let go ng employer nila, 'di ba? Parang asset kasi sila ng company eh. Mapeperahan, ano yung tawag dito? Magkakapera kasi yung business nila dahil sa kanila. Kaya ayaw nilang i-let go. So, kayong mga employee,
This is your side. Charot.
no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm, okay. Lahat ng previous company ko, masaya akong umalis sa kanila. Lahat ng previous company ko. Hindi ako kawalan sa kanila kasi hindi pa naman ako, hindi naman ako, tawag dito, super asset ng company kasi I was 20 and 21 during that time. Kumbaga, kaya pa nila akong i-let go. Ang sinasabi ko
Mhm.
dito, yung mga 10 years na sa company, yung matagal na talaga sila sa company, right? 'Di ba? Parang ang nangyayari kasi, ayaw silang i-let go ng employer nila. So, si employee, parang feeling niya mahal na mahal siya ni employer. But in reality, girl, wake up,
It's just
girl.
for yes, it's just
For
for their own
business.
benefit.
It's for their
Yeah.
business. Kasi hindi na sila makakahanap ng gaya mo na, yung
That's
trabaho mo, pang
true.
5 person, ang sahod mo, pang kalahating tao. Joke. Wait,
Yes,
wait, wait,
exactly,
wait.
exactly.
It
Mhm.
also applies, ate, yung sa relationship. 'Di ba minsan, ito, romantic relationship or friendship, manipulator yung iba. Anong ginagawa nila, ate? Parang sasabihin nila, kunwari yung boyfriend nila, ang dami kong binigay na regalo sa'yo, ang dami kong binigay na tulong sa'yo. Di ba may mga ganong guy or
Yes.
girl
Uh-huh.
na
Mhm.
ang dami kong binigay na gifts sa'yo, tinulungan kitang ganito, tapos hihiwalayan mo na ako. Paano yung mga ginastos ko sa'yo? I think that's wrong. Kasi
That's
people
wrong.
people are free to have choice in their lives, and it's none of our business na pakialaman yun just because tinulungan natin sila. Right? Tapos, ang
Yeah.
isipin ngayon nung minamanipulate ni victim, mahal na mahal ako nito, ayaw niya akong i-let go. But in reality,
Mhm.
dude, they're gonna use you for their own benefit. Mga narcissist yung mga yan. May hugot. Joke. Yun lang. Daming hugot. Ano pa ba?
Okay. So I think we can move on to, how do we actually make a sound judgment and not let it be in the way or hindrance in terms of, dealing with our daily lives, in terms of making our decisions. How
Mhm.
do we not make it toxic and negative in our life? Yung concept ng utang na loob. So maybe I can answer first, because this is a very good topic and at the same time sensitive. I actually asked some of my friends on how they see it, on how this concept affects their daily lives. And there's one friend of mine, hi Jaser. He mentioned that the concept becomes corrupted if you look at it from the lenses of guilt, because tinulungan ako, magi-guilty ka na to decide on your own without ever thinking about that person if maapektuhan siya. If you look at it that way, it will become corrupted, It becomes good, the concept really becomes good if you look at it from the lens of an inspiration. na I will do
Mm.
my best to give back because someone has been very good to me. And this whole
Yeah.
enterprise of giving back should be under the light of, wanting to do good rather than becoming a hostage of guilt, you
Yeah.
know?
Mm-mm,
It
mm-mm.
becomes really corrupted and negative because one of my friend naman, she said na medyo ano siya adamant siya sa stand niya na yung concept of utang na loob, it's like a invisible social contract na yung currency niya is guilt. So, ayun.
Oh,
So, technically, I can say na utang na loob, can never be paid materially because,
exactly.
gratefulness or gratitude is an abstract concept. Just
That's
like
true.
love, di ba? Hindi mo
Just
naman siya
like love.
matiturn into material things. So,
Mm.
if someone helped you, a simple, sincere thank you should be enough to pay the utang na loob. But whatever efforts that we do to materialize yung gratitude that we feel for them, it's just an add-on. Parang plus na lang yun eh. But
Exactly.
I'm
Exactly.
really grateful for your help, but if I do something else or if I do an additional na, okay, I will help
Mm.
you, it should be coming from my own willingness. Alam mo
That's
yun?
true. That's true.
So, it's not for the giving side to decide and dictate.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. That's true.
Ayun.
And also, if may I just add to that, I'm gonna give an analogy dun sa sinabi mo na add-ons lang siya. So just imagine yourself as a waiter or maybe as a receptionist sa hotel. 'Di ba
Yeah.
kapag when we serve the customers, we give them our best. There's a saying na we treat customers like a king. But we
Mm-hmm.
don't obliged the customers to give us a tip. Hoy, mag-tip ka. Mag-tip ka sa
Yeah.
akin. Kapag
Mm.
binigyan nila tayo ng tip, it's just an add-on. Thank you. Pero kung di nila ako bigyan
Yeah.
ng tip, okay lang, di ko sila
Okay lang.
aawayin. That's it.
Mhm.
So, this is also similar to our topic na kung di nila ibalik yung tinulong mo, edi hindi. Kung balik
Oo.
nila, thank you. That's it. Yun lang yung point nung
Yes.
sinabi ni Jilly. Diba?
Mhm.
Yun.
And on the giving end naman, it also becomes too toxic for you if, you know, magbibigay ka ng opinion sa binigay nung tao sa yung kapalit. Like for example, tinulungan kita and then he tries to effort and to give back. And then pagka nag-comment ka na, ito lang after everything,
Oh, that's
'di
true.
ba?
Nakakainis.
So
Oh.
that means you're no longer paying for gratitude. You're already paying for ransom,
Yeah,
Kung
yeah,
gano'n.
yeah. And
So
also,
that mhm,
dagdag ko dyan, you know the reason why we are expecting people to give something sa atin? Because we are incomplete. 'Di ba? For
yeah.
example, you are expecting validation, you are expecting financial help kasi wala ka nun. So,
Mhm,
expect mo na lang na the first person na magbabalik nun sa'yo is yourself. Right? So, let's say,
mhm,
kung totoong mayaman ka talaga, like, kunwari, isa kang philanthropist dyan na, kunwari, ikaw si Bill Gates, charing, na gusto mo talagang tumulong sa mahirap, you will not expect, parang revenue. Business yan? Nag-invest ka? Hindi
mhm,
ganon. Kasi kung talagang totoo ako may pera, I can still provide money for myself. Hindi ako mag-expect doon sa taong 'yun. Same
mhm,
with same with love and compassion. 'Di ba? If you love someone and you tell them I love you, gusto kita, don't expect mag-I love you to yung tao sa'yo. Because when a person said no or thank you,
grabe.
that's also a response. You know the reason why
Mhm,
you're expecting something from other people? Because you can't give it to yourself. Pero pag
yeah.
nabigay mo yan sa sarili mo, let's say yun na, kaya naglalaki ka, nag-confess ka, nanligaw ka, I love you, gusto kita, whatever. Kung mahal mo talaga yung sarili mo, okay lang, hindi niya ako gusto, I still love myself. I still have myself, I got my own back, kaya kong mabuhay nang wala siya. Kaya ka
And you
nag-expect.
didn't lose anything sa pag
Exactly. You didn't
mhm,
lose anything. Actually, you
mhm,
gained something pa nga. Why? Kasi nagkaroon ka ng clarity. Kesa yung
mhm.
what if ka ng what if, hindi ka nag-take ng
Yeah,
risk. So, it's
grabe.
counterintuitive, but yeah, ang daming hugot.
Hugot na hugot.
Yun lang, di ba?
Okay. So let's put our last thoughts now. Or do you have any last thoughts pa?
Wala na, parang feeling ko this is your episode, wala nga akong nasabi.
Ang dami
But,
mo nasabi, ha?
wait, wait, I love, no, wait lang,
Oh,
comment
sige.
natin si Jilly how she made a lot of research about this topic.
Wow.
No,
Yes, I
no.
made sure.
Pakinggan niyo naman yung mga sinabi niya. Talagang may mga excerpt siya from, books or whatever. Ang galing. Very
Conference.
commendable. Charing.
Okay,
Yun.
I wanted to share my last thoughts on this. So, I know most or majority of what we have mentioned are kind of the negative side. So,
Yeah.
on the affirmative side,
Babawiin lang namin
having
yung...
yes, on the concept of utang na loob, if you apply it in life in a positive or in a non-corruptive way, it's actually a good way to, strengthen a bond of friendship, yung helpfulness, nanonourished siya between the relationships that you have. And, the act of being helpful and of service to another person, that itself is already invaluable. And, you know, it can probably be repaid only through an act of the same nature or even greater. So, I also wanted to emphasize that this now we can never really take it against those people who still feel really indebted to the people who helped them. Again, this concept is really ingrained in our way of thinking na sa iba nga, it's part of their upbringing. Now, when someone help you, you have to help them in return or even um help them in a greater sense pa. And in which we have to repay the people who have helped us. Yun yung tinuro sa atin, maybe. So, what we're just trying to achieve here is to, identify whether this concept or thinking is starting to have a negative impact in our daily lives na, and we wanted to slowly turn our way of thinking in a different direction. Because, it takes courage to totally view your beliefs in a different perspective and recognize it na yung mga tinuro pala nung bata ako, hindi pala lahat yon tama. Hindi lahat yon dapat kong sundin because I have my own way of thinking, I have my own decision making, and I know my values. I have my own identification of what is wrong from right.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-mm.
yes, as Dave mentioned in the first part of this episode also, I wanted to reiterate it. We are not trying to advocate ingratitude because of
Oo,
course
hindi.
we always have to be thankful of every blessing that come our way, but not to the point wherein we are bound by guilt or hiya to even move forward.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So yes,
Yun lang,
ayun.
guys. I hope nakapag-open siya ng new perspective. Kasi, ito ha, I'm not glorifying ourselves, but I've never heard an episode ng podcast na nag-usap about, about gratitude or utang na loob. Kasi, pinapractice natin ng gratefulness and pagiging
Yeah,
thankful. Pero, yung other side of the coin, kailan siya nagiging destructive, hindi na pag-uusapan yun. Pero yun
mm,
guys, let's be thankful sa lahat ng blessings natin, lahat ng good things na nangyayari sa atin. We have to repay the kindness of the people na tumulong sa atin. But make sure we do it wholeheartedly.
yeah,
100% we are willing to do it. Yun
yeah.
lamang. Ingat kayo
I wanted
lagi.
to
Ay,
to
sorry. O,
end
go. Meron pa pala.
sorry. I wanted to end the episode with this very good quote that I saw. So, sabi, to change the world, we must be good to those who cannot repay us.
Oh, that's
So, we
true.
should we should be generous because we want to be, not because we are expecting anything in return. So,
That's
ayun.
true. That's it, guys. Bye. TikTok's podcast is also on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe.